Dead men beg no scraps. 5'0" and with a figure that looked like he'd been carved just to make passers-by laugh, Mickey leaned against the window frame of his 12th-story apartment building and looked out to the horizon. Rain spattered against the pane, like a warning keeping him locked inside his house of memories. There was a rap of knuckles against the peeling wooden door. Mickey looked around. Why couldn't they fix the damn security intercom? If he was going to face guests, he wanted at least 5 minutes to throw water on his face and put the whiskey back in the dresser. A Dove song-laced voice came from the door. "Isn't that any way to treat an old flame?" Mickey looked around as Alexandria swept into the room. Her hourglass figure kept the same time as Mickey remembered, and she could still make an end-of-line outfit look like $1 million. "You're a real piece of art, Alex," he told her. "Why are you hanging in a place like this?" She came up to him and cupped his face in her hands. "Mickey, baby, I came with good news. Abe sent me." Abe Hewitt, Mickey thought, my old agent. There was an old saying, when the world ends, the only creatures left will be the cockroaches, and Abe Hewitt will be queuing up behind them with a fork. Well, well, Mickey said, he ain't had reason to call in years. Alexandria let go of his face and led him over to the worn couch, while Mickey tried not to think about the last time she'd done that in this apartment. She said, "They're making a movie, Mickey, honey. They want you. Your name is all over it." Mickey was stunned. He hadn't been a star since... he couldn't remember. "Nobody makes pictures about me anymore, Alex. What happened to that Italian kid with the mustache, or that limey broad with all the guns?" Alex shook her head, her face full of innocent joy. "Abe says there's a real old-school revival. He wants to make a picture just like the old days. Honey, you could be a star again." Mickey turned his nose up bitterly. "I may be a mouse in this town, but I know a rat when I smell it. Abe only sends over the pretty if he thinks there's a reason I should say no." She moved closer. "Come on, honey," she pleaded. "It'd be just like old times." Mickey felt like the mouse who'd just seen the kitchen door open and seen a pile of cheese. Even if there were 100 traps, he couldn't see them from here. "Sure, Alex," Mickey said at last. "Let's me and you revisit some memories." Alex was hanging on his arm the whole way to Abe Hewitt's tiny office. Abe greeted Mickey like old family, and Mickey thought, the question is, am I the long-lost son or the fatted calf? "This is going to be a great picture," Abe told him, soaring in the air with his hands like an old showman. "We've got one of the best creative teams around working on it, and they know how to pitch it for the current market. It's a reinvention, Mickey boy, and it's dark." "Dark?" Mickey said. "Why the hell do we want to make it dark? Isn't life dark enough at times? Don't people want an escape anymore?" Abe shook his head. "Dark is where it's at. Audiences are more sophisticated these days. These days you can choose to be the hero or the villain, but whichever you choose, you're still the star." Those words rang in Mickey's ears. For years he'd wanted a chance to show what a bit of old-school magic could do. But the dream was shattered as soon as Mickey saw the rough cut. Firstly, his own character didn't make any sense. Mixing the good and evil sides was just a mess. Worse still was the camera work. He did his best to jump over scenery, whack enemies and solve puzzles, but his efforts were hampered by out-of-control cameras that didn't seem to show anything of the action. Even his own awkward movements were made to look like a department store mannequin falling down all 15 floors of his building. The worst thing was how it looked. Blotchy colours and poor animation rendered subpar by careless direction and an unmotivated script. Without a word, Mickey threw his coffee cup on the floor and walked out. Abe came running after him. "What are you doing, Mickey boy?" he demanded. Mickey spun round. "I'm done with this picture. I'm done with you." Abe's face filled with rage. "If you quit now, you're through for good. This was your chance to make a comeback. If you walk away from this, you're a dead man." Mickey just looked at him sadly. "I'm already a dead man, Abe. Can't you see? Don't you understand? What we had was beautiful once. We showed the world how it should be done. But then I died and the world moved on without me. But they still had their memories of me and the good times I gave them. But this," he removed a copy of the script from his hand and gave it a slap, "this travesty, is not how I want to be remembered. Our audience deserves better. I'd rather be a dead legend than live and be associated with this failure. You want to make something that speaks to modern audiences? Then give it a name they understand. Call it a fail. Call it an epic fail. Can you do that, Abe? Can you be honest? Or are you just taking the mickey? Mickey walked out towards the city. The sun was baking the side of his building, and he knew where he could find a killer view to watch the world go by. The world he'd helped to shape.